what from your perspective, do you remember what happened?
I just tucked the front, so you would never in a million years think you're going to crash there. And I was doing 230, 228 k an hour or something ridiculous. But like as soon as I crashed that bike, I was like,
Fuck.
I'm going to die.
Jett, when he rides, his posture never changes.
The other thing is too, because he's the man at the moment, it's like, okay, we need to have straight back. It's like I'm not saying he does have a really good style, and maybe that is the way he should ride a bike. But 10 years ago, there have been things that Carmichael done, and before that, and before and after that, we would have thought, oh, that's how you got to do that.
I met a Gypsy.
And you're comfortable on a bike, that's where people are strong. Look at Jett Lawrence, like he's still young, like essentially in the big scheme of things. He's still going to grow as an athlete and a human, but he's not a massive strong lad, but he looks so strong on that bike.
Well, I think with him, it said core, like I think that's probably the thing that I'm going to really try and work on between now and World Vets.
Yeah,
because you look at Jett when he rides, his posture.
Yeah.
His posture never changes. Like even how back his neck is, like he's just in a perfect rectangle at all times. And I feel like that's just got to be such a huge advantage for him. Like you can see it when he rides, he doesn't break posture. Yeah.
Well, you look at your lower, say you stand for 25 minutes with your lower back arched, holding some weights, your lower back's going to start to fatigue a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously for him, his lower back's not really. It's copying in other areas, but I think overall his body looks like it's in a very efficient position.
Yeah,
he's obviously got a lot of. I'd say he's pretty flexible by the way he rides. Like my lower back wouldn't get to that position. I can barely touch my toes. So
yeah.
Like for me to ride in that position, my hamstrings are going to be quite tight.
Yeah,
but yeah. But the other thing is too, because he's the man at the moment. It's like, okay, we need to have straight back. It's like I'm not saying he does have a really good style, and maybe that is the way he should ride a bike. But like 10 years ago, there have been things that Carmichael done, and before that, and before and after that, we would have thought, oh, that's how you got to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think in motocross, we're entering the era of like being an athlete. Because I would say Jett is extremely athletic.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the way that, again, I'm basing that off like maintaining athletic posture during an extremely athletic activity.
Yeah.
You can see other guys that are, getting thrown around.
Fatiguing. Yeah.
So I think like athleticism and technique.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you're seeing him come into the 450 class and just obliterate everybody. And I don't think that they're going to be able to. Then people aren't going to be able to bridge that gap. Like there's going to be, like maybe Hayden Deegan. Like maybe he's the guy that can come along after a few years in the 250 class. Jett's going to be a little bit old. Like maybe he's the dude that can do it. But I just can't really see people being able to catch up to that. Like that, it's years and years and years and years of foundational technical work that's allowed him, and I think that it's at the exact right time where the 450s are as gnarly as they are too. You know, like on it, and you can see on a 250 the difference wasn't as drastic. Like there's people that could beat him on a 250 because there's like a way that like you can max one of those bikes out essentially. Yeah, like no one's maxing out a 450, and then you get the tracks that get as rough as they do, and there's only a certain speed that you can ride it. It's like everything has funneled into no one beating him for a long time. Yeah,
I agree. I know it's like, I don't want to speak about how good the next guys will be, but definitely right now, speaking of just Jett, and not saying he's going to dominate forever, but like just the way he is, it's like I've sort of been waiting for an athlete like that. Like there's always flaws. They're super talented and they don't work, or they work really hard but they lack a bit of raw speed, or like they got a big mouth on them. Or, this kid's like, he's just dealing with that pressure, but also looking like he's having fun. It's like where there's no like.
What's the
when you're racing against him right now? Okay, how can we get under his skin and what can we do to put him off his game? Well, he's a pretty cool kid. Like, it's hard to know what's going to put him out. Like, I reckon you could run into the side of him and he would not care. He'd keep riding. You could heckle him like crazy. He'd laugh it off. He doesn't seem to...
Yeah, you can't rattle him.
It'd be hard to rattle him. Like, yeah, it's pretty impressive, really, like, to see how sort of comfortable he is just to be essentially on for a perfect year and not even really flinch at it. Like, well, dude, so... I shouldn't say that so early, but yeah. Well, you got to say it, but he just looks that good.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Danny Rick after Parla, and I'm like, all right, what'd you think? And his take is, I love his take because he's such a super fan of the sport. He never misses a moto. But he comes from like the most high pressure
cooker,
cutthroat. Like, he knows pressure better than maybe 99.9% of athletes that have ever existed. You know, exactly. Like, even my wife, Jack got 5th doing in F2 on the weekend, and she's like, "Oh, 5th's awesome," and I'm like, "5th sucks." You know why 5th sucks? Because there's only 20 spots in F1. So if you got 5th in F2, like, we're not even in the same conversation. Yeah. So that's like the gnarliness that dude has had to deal with. Yeah. And what he said about Jett was, bro, to handle that pressure at 19, he goes, that's hectic.
Yeah. Race 2 at Parla was like, that was pressure. Yeah. Like, that's your teammate for one. Yeah. Like, yeah. It's just, and he didn't even look like, he just looked like, we'll never know, but could he have gone 5 seconds a lap faster? Not that much, but, you know, could he have gone faster? Probably. Yeah. But he just looked like he controlled it so easily. Like, yeah.
Dude, the thing that I say that Moto 2 at Parla is way more high level than maybe most people would give him credit for, right? Like, so you've got this beat to shit track gone. Yeah. There's a certain speed that you could go on that the track would give you. And I think that's probably maybe a similar situation in road racing where there's only so much grip when it comes to temp, tire temp, like track temp. Yeah. There's like a window, you know, like you could see it at was it Jerez this year where like there was some practice sessions where the times were just getting pumped because it was on. You know, the tires were up, the track was gripped up, everything was right. So Parla Moto 2 was one of those conditions where it's like you've just only got so much speed. And so what does Jett do? Just rides every inside. Yeah. Does it to the speed that's comfortable for the track to do it. And he just knows that Sexton can't touch him. Yeah. He's like, if I stay this speed and ride these inside lines, it's going to force Chase to go outside, which, because you're riding a longer distance, you need to ride faster. Yeah. But you can't ride faster because this is how fast the track... So he literally just dictated how that race went down at 19 in the second moto of your 450 debut to go 1-1.
It's like, it was so impressive. It's like just... And because the track, there was so easy to make a mistake in that track. It looked quite slick, really. Like there were so many things that could go wrong. Yeah. And then you can't say, I know people say, oh, that guy doesn't feel nerves, but everyone feels nerves. And that guy, he's been waiting for that race for a long time. When he seen Sexton was behind him, I'm telling you, he was definitely nervous. Yeah. So like the fact that the nerves are probably at an all-time high, and he just looks like he's out on a trail ride. There was no urgency. Like, he just done his job, which is what you do when you're 5 times champion and a veteran in the sport. And he just sort of done it. It's like, it's pretty crazy.
I wonder if we have like a new problem though, when it comes to Jett. Like, is it good for the sport for him to be this good? Like, does it create do we now have a problem?
Yeah, but then you never know, do you? Like, that's why I don't like talking about the up-and-comers, and you just never know what's around the corner. Like, you know, before Jett was coming, you know, we thought the current crop was the best, and then now Jett's here, and then all of a sudden someone will be doing something, and you'll say, oh, this guy's amazing. Yeah. So I don't think we're going to see, like, I think Jett's definitely, as long as he wants to be the man, he's probably going to be the man, but it's just crazy it's just crazy how fast they're going, really. And it's not until when you're riding a dirt bike, you realise that, like, I bet you rocked up the QMP last week thinking, after watching Jett, you're like, I'm going to be faster today. I rocked up thinking, I'm going to be so much faster. I'm going to stand up everywhere. My back's going to be so straight. I'm going to just jump over every braking bump. Then all of a sudden I'm frisbeeing through the air.
Yeah, cartwheel on first lap. Yeah, man, it's, I wonder what it's going to be like for that. Because even like Roan's come in and he's like, oh, did you watch the motocross? I'm like, yeah, I watched every moto. He's like, I didn't bother watching it. Like,
he smoked
round 2. And he's just like, well, I already know what's going to happen. So fucking what's the point? We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com. packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.